Hello and welcome to Being Green in Lower Merion. I'm Margaret Thompson.
And I'm Michael Davis. In this show, we're going to look at ways to make our lives more sustainable at home, work, and just on the planet. The need to be more sustainable is becoming more and more clear each day. As weather patterns continue to change and scientists discover more and more about how we impact the world around us, we need to be proactive and try to be greener in our day-to-day lives.
April 22nd is Earth Day, but the entire month of April is recognized as Earth Month. Earth Day or month is a chance to connect with Mother Earth, to bring awareness to environmental issues and to think about the choices we make that affect the planet. Did you know the first Earth Day was in April 1970? It may be hard to imagine that before 1970, a factory could spew black clouds of toxic smoke into the air, or dump tons of toxic waste into a nearby stream. And that was perfectly legal. They could not be taken to court to stop it. How was that possible? Because there was no EPA, no Clean Air Act, no Clean Water Act. There were no legal or regulatory mechanisms to protect our environment. In spring 1970, Senator Gaylord Nelson created Earth Day as a way to force this issue onto the national agenda. 20 million Americans demonstrated in different U.S. cities, and it worked. In December 1970, Congress authorized the creation of a new federal agency to tackle environmental issues. That's when the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency started.
Since then, a lot has happened. We have become aware of our impact on the planet, and that impact has made the climate change.
Change has been in the news for years. But what is it, and how will it affect us? To understand climate change, you first need to know about the greenhouse effect. The Earth gets heat from the sun. In the atmosphere, greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide trap this heat and keep it from escaping back to outer space. Trapping some heat in the atmosphere is a good thing because it keeps the planet warm enough for us to live. But there's a problem. People all over the world are adding extra carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. That's because today we burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, to do many of our everyday activities, like driving our cars, using our computers, and heating our homes. All of this extra carbon dioxide is trapping more heat in the atmosphere, making the Earth warmer and causing other climate changes too. The signs of climate change are all around us. Temperatures are getting warmer, giant ice sheets are melting, and the oceans are rising. In many places, flowers are blooming earlier, snow is melting sooner, and birds aren't flying as far south for the winter. So why does this matter? Well, if the planet keeps getting warmer, we can expect more powerful storms and more flooding, droughts, and heat waves. And these changes could cause additional problems, like the spread of certain diseases, more wildfires, and food and water shortages. Climate change could put entire ecosystems, like coral reefs, in danger, and many plants and animals could become extinct. The good news is that we can take action. We can put less carbon dioxide into the atmosphere if we generate electricity from clean sources, like solar and wind power, instead of burning coal, oil, or gas. We can also drive less, use public transportation, and choose cars that go further using less gas. And you can do your part. Reduce your energy use by turning off the lights, the computer, and the TV when you're not using them, and walk or ride your bike to work or school. By making smart choices and working together, we can make a difference. Check out the rest of this website to learn more about the causes and effects of climate change, as well as the practical solutions that can help protect our planet's future.
That's good information. But couldn't someone say that the planet has been around for billions of years? The climate is always changing. You're overreacting. Just wait it out.
Yes, they could, but there's a price for inaction too. Here's a short video that explains that.
The climate is changing. In fact, it's been changing for millions of years. But what's different now is the climate is changing at an unprecedented rate. We're seeing it in rising temperatures, in the increased intensity of storms, floods, and droughts, and the frequency of this severe weather is increasing. Also, sea levels are rising more rapidly. How do these events affect the things we care about in our daily lives? Many of the things that we depend on, like food, water, and energy, are sensitive to changes in climate. Climate change makes it more difficult to ensure adequate water supplies for drinking water, growing crops, and hydropower. It destroys our rivers and beaches and changes the landscape of our country from Florida and the Gulf Coast to Glacier National Park and Alaska. It affects our ability to raise cattle and catch fish, and it increases the risk we face of infectious disease and heat-related deaths. Any one of these consequences of climate change would pose a significant challenge to our nation. But these things are all happening across America at the same time. Hurricane Sandy illustrated that we are inadequately prepared to protect ourselves against extreme weather. Flooding damaged thousands of homes and businesses in New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York, even Wall Street. While parts of the area are back to normal, not every community was resilient enough to recover quickly from this disaster. Some still haven't. And these localized storms can have national impacts. Hurricane Katrina didn't just devastate New Orleans, it affected the availability of oil and natural gas to people all across the country. The dramatic shifts in our weather patterns are now causing severe drought and flooding, posing major challenges to farmers. In Iowa, farmers are struggling to grow our crops as they are hit by repeated floods and droughts. If this keeps up, we could see a scarcity in our food supplies and higher prices at the grocery store. As our temperatures and weather patterns shift, farmers may no longer be able to keep growing the same types of crops. Climate change is also threatening our water supplies in states like California, Arizona, and Nevada. Lake Mead, a key source of water for those states, is already at historically low levels. They may soon have to ration water for drinking, agriculture, and energy production. Extreme dry spells are also triggering more wildfires that are burning out of control and destroying homes. And it's not just happening here in the United States. It's happening all around the world. There's no time to wait. The consequences of delaying action will only become more severe and more difficult to overcome. We have an opportunity to slow the rate of climate change and make it more manageable by cutting greenhouse gas emissions that contribute to global warming. In the same way that all of our individual actions cause the climate to change so rapidly, we can all be part of the solution. Working together, we can make a difference as we continue to reduce greenhouse gases and anticipate, prepare, and adapt to a changing climate.
We really do have to think about the choices we make and how it affects the planet. Examples of the activities include rethink your purchases, leave the leaves, repair an item, swap 2 wasteful products, try 4 vegan meals, and learn about 2 animals. People think it has to be all or nothing, but you can do little things that seem small, and when we put them all together, it creates that ripple effect.
We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll look at some things you can do to be more green and help make a difference. See you soon. Hello, and welcome back to Being Green in Lower Merion. I'm Michael Davis.
And I'm Margaret Thompson. As a part of celebrating Earth Day and month, we have a few suggestions for helping us to be more green. Like, are you considering an electric vehicle? Or just want to learn more about them? We have a short video that describes how electric vehicles and different types of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles work. It also shows you where to find information on a vehicle's driving range, how to charge your vehicle, and how driving an electric vehicle could save you money in fuel costs and reduce air pollution. Check it out!
While today's cars are much cleaner, burning gasoline still creates harmful tailpipe emissions that contribute to climate change and smog. How are electric vehicles different? Electric vehicles produce no tailpipe emissions. Even with the use of electricity, total emissions associated with driving EVs are still typically less than those for gasoline cars, particularly if the electricity is generated from renewable energy sources like wind. Electric vehicles have a battery instead of a fuel tank, and they have an electric motor instead of an internal combustion engine. The motor uses electricity from the battery to power the wheels. The motor can also charge the battery by recapturing energy that would otherwise be lost during braking. The number of miles an EV will travel before the battery needs to be recharged can be found on the Fuel Economy and Environment label or at fueleconomy.gov. To recharge the battery, just plug the car into a household outlet. Most EVs can be charged with the standard 120-volt outlet. A 240-volt outlet, like the one your dryer or electric stove uses, will charge the vehicle more quickly. Check the window sticker for the charge time of the vehicle. You may also be able to plug in at work or at a public fast charging station. Plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, or PHEVs, have a battery and an electric motor. They also have a gasoline tank and an internal combustion engine. Some PHEVs operate exclusively or almost exclusively on electricity until the battery is nearly empty. Then gasoline is burned in the engine to generate additional electricity for the electric motor or to power the wheels. The fuel economy label shows the vehicle's driving range using only electricity and the total number of miles it can travel if you start with a full battery and a full tank of gasoline. Blended mode PHEVs use both gasoline and electricity to power the vehicle while the battery is charged. When the battery is nearly empty, the internal combustion engine uses gasoline to power the wheels alone. Some blended mode PHEVs can travel a short distance using only electricity. You can recharge PHEVs at home or at a public charging station. Since PHEVs typically have smaller battery systems than EVs, they recharge more quickly. Since a PHEV can run exclusively on gasoline, you can still drive it even if you rarely or never recharge the battery. However, it costs less per mile to run on electricity. That means the more you recharge, the more money you'll save. Plus, you'll also reduce harmful tailpipe emissions. Very high speed or aggressive driving, cold temperatures, and frequent use of the heater or air conditioner may lower how far you can travel on electricity. Remember to consider your typical driving conditions and driving style when deciding what type of vehicle is right for you. Learn more at epa.gov/green vehicles and fueleconomy.gov.
That's good information. Electric vehicles do seem to be all the rage right now. As a matter of fact, in Denver, Colorado, they're trying out electric school buses.
No electric bus? Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to ride the electric bus.
Now's the time. Now's the time to start electrifying your fleet. You know, what you have with electric buses is they're lower cost over time and they cost a little more upfront. So if we can help address that a little more upfront, then the school district could get all the savings, which means they can pay teachers better and reduce their class size.
School budgets are always tight, and so the federal government coming in to pay for school buses is obviously going to help. Congress passed the bipartisan infrastructure law. That legislation included $5 billion nationwide for clean school buses. EPA is rolling that money out now.
It helps recruit bus drivers too, because it's a much more pleasant driving experience for the bus drivers.
It is a smooth riding bus. It's quiet. I mean, it handles great. The kids love it because it's quiet. The other buses, they kind of rattle and then the engine's super loud, so they love it.
Quieter neighborhoods, healthier kids, and lower cost for school districts. It's really a win-win-win. The less that we can expose kids to diesel fumes, the healthier and more ready to learn the kids will be.
It's hard to find a young student who doesn't care about the environment, and I think this really addresses student values as well. Kids are going to be standing at the bus stop near where the tailpipe goes by, whether they're getting on the bus or off the bus. So it just makes sense to cut those emissions and make sure that we're taking care of the air quality that they're exposed to.
I love the triple bottom line. It's good for the environment, good for school district budgets, and good for kids' health.
Earth Earth Day and month gives us an opportunity to celebrate some of the many successes of people helping to save the planet, like Nick Dugan from the EPA.
Every single day I get to go to work and I do something that hopefully helps make the water that comes out of the tap safer. My name is Nicholas Dugan and I'm an environmental engineer, and I've been working for the Environmental Protection Agency for 17 years, and I perform bench and pilot scale drinking water treatment studies to look at the most efficient and cost-effective way of removing a wide range of contaminants from drinking water. Algal toxins, they are a big problem nationally, and they show up in at least half of the states in the union. So it is definitely a nationwide problem, and there's a couple of major reasons for why these blooms are harmful. Most freshwater harmful algal blooms are caused by a bacteria that photosynthesizes. They're called cyanobacteria, and they release several different types of toxins, and these toxins affect the body in two main ways. The first is there's one type of toxin that affects the central nervous system, and there's another type of toxin that affects the liver. We as an agency need to understand how these cyanobacteria, how their cells, and also the toxins that these cells produce, how they actually move through a drinking water treatment plant, and where in the water treatment plant in the existing facilities are they most effectively removed. My hope with the algal blooms is that the information that I help to generate is something that practicing consulting engineers and managers at drinking water utilities will be used by them to work collaboratively to essentially figure out a way to cost-effectively upgrade or change the operation of their treatment facilities to lower the probability of the consuming public coming to harm from these toxins. I go to work every day. I know I'm doing the right thing, because drinking water, the water that comes out of your tap, is important to every single person in this country.
We have to take another break. When we come back, we'll look at a few more things to help you be more green. Don't go away. You're really going to like what's coming up. Hello, and welcome back to Being Green in Lower Merion. I'm Michael Davis. We've been talking about Earth Day, electric vehicles, and clean water. Like this.
We are here celebrating our 1,000th charger installed across the state using Driving PA Forward dollars. It's important to have the charging infrastructure for electric vehicles, because as we see more electric vehicles being bought, we're seeing the air quality improvements from that. We're seeing the environmental improvements from that. We're seeing the health benefits of that in terms of reduced nitrogen oxide emissions, reduced particulate matter being emitted as cars drive up and down the road. So in funding charging stations across the state, you have the opportunity from Allegheny County to Wyoming County to be able to take your electric vehicle and find a place to charge it. And we're seeing the opportunity for electric vehicles be embraced by everyone from homeowners to fleet managers with municipalities. Bus companies are starting to use it. People who are buying the electric vehicles want to know that they can get a charge as they're out and about running errands or traveling. So the more of these that we get in place, the better confidence people have, and the more of those vehicles that we'll have, the better air quality we'll have.
Developing this project, we looked at different amenities that we wanted to supply to the community. One of them being the EV chargers. There was grant money available, which made it very easy for us to make the decision to implement these here at the site. It covered more than half the cost, so it was a great opportunity. We also were the first charging stations in Camp Hill, which gave us a first, which was nice.
There's absolutely more customers coming in. There's more people who are using the chargers. So because of that, we're seeing definitely an uptick in the number of customers that are coming in who are using the chargers. So it's been good for our business.
Hopefully we are all trying to be more green. But how do you know? How do you know that the electricity that you are using is really from a renewable source? That's where RECs come in. Renewable energy certificates, also known as RECs, represent the environment and other non-power attributes of renewable electricity generation and are a component of all renewable electricity products. RECs are measured in single megawatt-hour increments and are created at the point of electric generation. Each REC represents a specific amount of electricity produced and delivered to the power grid by a renewable resource such as wind or solar. RECs have become an important tool for the renewable electricity market. Here's a video that explains it all.
You probably know about the benefits of green power or renewable electricity produced by sources such as wind or the sun. Renewable electricity produces no fossil fuel-based greenhouse gas emissions or other air pollutants. That makes it cleaner than electricity that comes from burning coal or natural gas. But if you don't have your own wind turbine or solar panels, how can you use renewable electricity? With renewable energy certificates, also known as RECs, you can purchase renewable power and help the renewable energy market to grow. To understand how RECs work, it helps to understand how electricity is generated and delivered. From fossil fuel-based power plants to wind farms, every power generator produces electricity. This electricity travels to you through a network of transmission and distribution wires, which we call the electric power grid. Electricity from many different sources mixes together in the grid. There's no way to distinguish the exact source that your electricity came from. So how can a consumer like you know that the power you're using is from renewable resources? That's where renewable energy certificates come in. Each REC represents a specific amount of electricity produced and delivered to the power grid by a renewable resource, such as wind or solar. Let's take a wind turbine, for example. For every megawatt hour of electricity it produces, the turbine's owner generates a REC that they can either keep or sell. If you buy the REC, you are now the owner of that green power. RECs allow you to claim that the electricity you use came from a renewable resource with low or zero emissions. In fact, anytime someone claims to use renewable electricity, RECs are involved. Even if you produce your own renewable power on site, you're generating your own RECs. RECs are part of every renewable energy purchase, and they're a credible way to buy and sell renewable electricity because RECs can be uniquely numbered and tracked. Just like an online bank account that keeps track of your electronic banking transactions, anytime a REC is sold, there are systems that track and record it. Once you buy a REC and say that you're using green power, the REC can no longer be sold or used by someone else. The REC can be retired in the tracking system to prevent someone else from claiming it. EPA recommends buying RECs that are certified and verified. This ensures that your green power was generated by a quality renewable resource and what you bought was actually produced. Why are RECs so important? Because they are the currency of the renewable energy market. They allow people and organizations to choose cleaner sources of energy and reduce their carbon footprints. RECs give you the flexibility to support renewable energy even if you can't generate it yourself, or if your local utility doesn't offer a green power product. If RECs did not exist, it would be difficult to say for sure that you're using renewable electricity. In today's electricity market, RECs really do make a difference. By buying RECs, you're providing revenue to support renewable energy projects. When enough people buy RECs, these purchases promote growth in the green power marketplace and help to avoid greenhouse gas emissions across the country. For more information about RECs and how they work, visit the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Green Power Partnership at www.epa.gov/greenpower.
Food waste is the second largest portion of garbage going into landfills in the United States, accounting for over 30 million tons each year. Food scraps are one of the most important materials to divert from landfills as they decompose to create methane, a potent greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. In order to decrease food waste and mitigate global warming, East Bay Municipal Utility District is pioneering an innovative method of taking food scraps from restaurants and commercial food processors and using them as a valuable commodity to produce green renewable energy through anaerobic digestion, with the remains going to compost. Check it out.
Most people know about putting bottles and cans to a higher use by recycling. But what about all those food scraps that are sent to the landfills every year? Food scraps disposed in landfills create methane, a greenhouse gas, and contribute to climate change. Instead of tossing them in the trash, we can convert food scraps to energy. In Oakland, California, the East Bay Municipal Utility District, or East Bay MUD, uses an innovative technique to collect the methane from food waste. A grant from EPA helped them to advance this technology, which made East Bay MUD the first wastewater treatment plant in the country to convert post-consumer food waste to energy using anaerobic digesters.
There isn't a lot of experience doing this. In fact, nowhere else in the country is anyone doing this.
The process begins when local restaurants separate food waste for disposal. At the East Bay MUD's wastewater treatment plant, waste is broken down in large containers called anaerobic digesters. When you add food waste to a digester, the bacteria inside can decompose the food. The digester captures the biogas. The methane from biogas then powers the treatment plant. The food material remaining after the digestion process can be composted and used as a soil amendment to help grow your food. This anaerobic digestion process uses waste as a valuable commodity. It mitigates climate change from methane and creates both energy and valuable soil amendments.
This partnership with East Bay Municipal Utility District and EPA Region 9 has not only benefited our customers, but has also opened the door for food waste to be brought into any wastewater treatment plant anywhere in the country.
Whoever thought that one day your food scraps would be powering your lights?
Wow, where does the time go? But before we go, we wanted to let you know about some Lower Merion Township sustainability events happening in April 2024. On April 10th at 7 p.m., there will be a presentation about waste minimization at Ludington Library. On April 14th, there will be a presentation at Adith Israel to learn how to access federal rebates and tax credits to transition your home to a clean energy future. From April 19th to the 21st, there will be Pennsylvania Horticultural Society Tree Tenders Group's tree planting events. On April 20th, Lower Merion Sustainability will have a table at Bryn Mawr Farmers Market. On April 21st, there will be BioBlitz and Earth Day celebration at Wynwood Valley Park. From April 26th to May 4th, there will be a City Nature Challenge. On April 27th, there will be an organized community bike ride. Also, keep an eye out for a spring community garden workday and an electric vehicle showcase.
I hope you found these tips helpful. If you want more information on sustainable living, check out EPA.gov. I'm Michael Davis.
And I'm Margaret Thompson. And we will see you next month on Being Green in Lower Merion. Remember, reduce, reuse, and recycle.